Right, see you later, darling. Hi everybody, welcome World Watchers, welcome to Big OGGIE World, and today Kelly's popped to her mum's, so I am going to be in the kitchen. I know, I love being in the kitchen, and I've actually got myself all prepared. I say I got myself all prepared, Kelly helped out before she left. Today we're going to make a cake. We haven't got any cake in the house at the moment. The Jammy Dodger Blonders were a great success, and we're now out. But we like making a homemade cake in this house, and funny enough, I'm pretty sure that last time I went to my in-laws, my father-in-law said he liked carrot cake. So we haven't done a carrot cake on the channel, and I must admit, it's one of those kind of cakes, a bit like a coffee and walnut, that it's kind of a retro thing. You're never sure if you like it or not, but then when you have one you really do, and then you forget all about it again. But today we're going to make one. Not the healthiest thing, a carrot cake. I always thought it was supposed to be, but then when you think about all the toppings and stuff on it, probably not. But carrots are a great addition to a cake. I've also had a beetroot cake before, and I've had a courgette cake, so it all kind of works. So this recipe is a Paul Hollywood cake. I found it on the Delicious website magazine, and also on their website, and I've had to vamp it slightly because his, and I've looked on about 6 or 7 different ones now, some include fruit, some don't, and his doesn't, but we love a bit of fruit. In fact, we're more partial to the fruit than the nuts. So I'm going to add some golden sultanas in as well. It's a very easy recipe. I'm going to very quickly, because it's all done very quickly, I'm actually going to read you the ingredient list when I put it up on the corner. So let me just get to that a second. So for this, you're going to need mixed spice, ground ginger, brown muscovado sugar. We've got a mix of light and dark because we're actually out of light, but predominantly you should use light. The zest of 1 satsuma or mandarin, or an orange if you've got one, but hey, satsumas are still lovely. Almost getting into that taste of Christmas with the clementines. So once you've got that, you need some nuts. You can use either walnuts. We're using pecans because I rather like pecans. Plus, if you've got someone who doesn't like nuts in the family, they're halves and they're big, they don't break up, they can find them and take them out. I think that's going to be happening in this house. So with that, you also need, of course, carrots. 260 grams of these, not as much as you think. Coarsely grated, okay? It's about 1 3/4 large carrots. Also then you will need 3 medium eggs, and oil. We're not using butter in this, we're using sunflower oil. Now we've got an icing which we'll do later, which is basically butter and cream cheese. They actually recommend a branded one from that place in America, but obviously you can use whichever one you like. Yeah, we're going to use Philadelphia. No brand advertising here. And some icing sugar, and also the zest of an orange, which we'll do later. Obviously we've got to do that later. The oven I am preheating to 160 degrees, fan 180, non-fan, and I can never remember the gas, but I'll write it down on the top for you. So I'm going to crack on. Also, before we go, I have got an 8-inch tin which I have greased with some cake release stuff, tiny little drop, brushed it all in, and I've lined it also with a cake liner. That's why I picked this up, they all fell out. With a cake liner. You can get these from the Sainsbury's or loads of places. They're just brilliant. If you can't do that, use a bit of brown paper, greaseproof paper, and then cut it out and stick it in. So we'll put that to one side in a second, and then we'll put this all together. Oh, take the glass off, not reading anymore. Just checked, it's gas mark 4. There you go. So, got myself a mixing bowl, got myself a big wooden spoon. I'm going to put this together. So first of all, you get all your dry ingredients really. So put your flour in. It says sift, but to be quite frankly, there's no real point in that anymore. Kind of an old-fashioned idea. Gets air into things, but there's no lumps in most flour nowadays. To that, I've also already added the baking powder. Put the spices in. Dry stuff. Put those to one side. To that, we're now going to add everything else really. So we're going to put the sugar in. obviously we're going to add our fruit. Gotta love a sultana. Tend to buy the Whitworth ones, the golden ones, just fantastic. That's that. We add the nuts in. And of course, we add the carrot in. I'm going to just mix this up a little bit first, just to break the sugar up slightly. I'm not going to mix it too heavily because I don't really want the nuts to be broken up, as we discussed earlier. I'm going to show you, so obviously that's all nicely mixed up. It's dead easy, just like all the dry ingredients, all the wet ingredients. To that you add your carrot. Mix that in, give that a good mix. Smells a little bit Christmassy. The mixed spice has all manner of different things in it. I didn't realise it actually had cloves in it, but it does. But we've also oomphed some of the mixed spice by adding extra cinnamon and a little bit of extra ginger, just to get that little bit of warmth. That's the plan anyway. A little bit lump of the dark muscovado there, so just get rid of that. Right. Okay, now to that we're going to add the liquid. Okay, just very quickly showing you again, so that's all the dry ingredients all nicely done. Now we're going to add the oil and the eggs. So oil in this, not butter. I did look on the website for this, and there was a couple of questions like how can you make it last longer and not go stale? And the reason is you're using oil, so it actually keeps the cake fresher than if you're doing a Victoria sponge or something like that, which you tend to use butter. So we're going to put them together. There. And pour all this in. I'm going to give it a good mix up. Like I said, with this you're kind of making a batter really. You haven't got to worry too much about anything curdling. Just as long as everything is combined and everything is wet. Once you got to that stage, you're all done and basically you're just going to pop it in the tin. Make sure you dig the bottom bit out because obviously that's some of the liquid and not all the dry stuff. There we go. There we go, all beautifully mixed up. Let's go and grab a tin and we'll pop it in. So we've got our tin. The magazine said 18 centimetres, which we worked out to be 7 point something inches. We've got an 8-inch, so this might be ever slightly thinner than it should be, but good enough for us. So it's quite a wet mixture. I'm going to pour all this in. I can see why Kelly says she struggles with this old-fashioned bowl. I mean, it's lovely old-fashioned bowls, but they are very heavy. So there we go. Must admit, it took a little while to get that out of that. In the end, use a spatula because obviously you want every bit of the mixture. Level it off. Time to pop it in the oven for 1 hour. Obviously, with all ovens, keep an eye on it. We've got an internal thermometer, it's going to keep a check on that. But I'm going to set the timer for an hour, look at it from around about 50 onwards, and I'll be back. Easy peasy, wasn't it, eh? Okay, so just checked it. Clean knife, clean skewer if you use a skewer, and we're done. What we've got to do now, we're going to leave this in the tin for about 5 to 10 minutes. I normally give it about 10. That will probably let it shrink a little bit away from the edges. And then we'll take it out of the tin, we'll put it on the cooling rack, and it has to cool properly, like really, really properly. It's got to be stone cold really when we do the next bit. Because we're going to make some cream cheese, they're saying frosting, but it also goes on the inside. If I can cut this in half, that's going to be interesting. So I will see you in a couple of hours. Let's let this cool down and then I'll show you how to make cream cheese frosting. Right everybody, welcome back. The cake is now cooled and I've now cut it best I can. It is actually pretty accurate. There is a technique which I will show you on another video about how to cut a cake evenly across. However, it didn't quite work with this because it had nuts in. So I had to use trusty serrated knife and a keen eye. But it's okay, it went pretty well. It's never going to look like it is in the pictures, is it? You know, because a bit like when you see McDonald's, you know, they're not pushed up and have little cocktail sticks and stuff put in them, make it look better. It doesn't matter, it's a home cooking piece of cake. So, what we're going to do now, we're going to make the frosting. Frosting or the inside cream is on both. Start off with 50 grams of softened butter. Then you're going to beat it with the whisk until it's very soft. It's pretty soft already. Then we're going to add some cream cheese, Philadelphia in this day and age really, most people know. Other brands are available. 200 grams, so there's one full one of their small pots and then a squidge out of this one. Okay? Going to beat all that together till it's nice and smooth. And then we're going to add 100 grams of icing sugar, sweetens it all up. Sift that in, take its time. Then we're going to add some orange zest at the end. Let me wire this up properly. We'll get started. Okay, let's pop on some power. Like I said, this butter is already soft. Because despite the fact there's a storm outside, it's still very humid, hot and sticky. So, that's okay as it is. To that, we're going to add the cream cheese. There we go, one full one, don't waste any. And a good splodge of another one, so you get about 200 grams. There we go, perfect. So now I'm going to beat that bit up. Now remember, you're not going to go too mad with this because you don't want butter after all. So that's as it is. Now we're going to sieve in the icing sugar. Just make sure there's no lumps. There we go, so we're pretty much there now. Lovely. And to that, we can add the zest of one orange. Zest is always best. Zest is where you get all the flavours. The juice is kind of nice when you put it into cakes and things just to kind of moisten stuff, but it doesn't really give you all the flavour. So, going to beat this up so it's all nicely mixed. Then the idea is you pop it in the fridge for a while or just chill it down just for when you need it. But obviously we'll be using it quite quick. Wipe all that down, make sure you get everything mixed. That's the key to this. It's not about beating anything up, it's just about mixing it all properly so you've got everything combined. Looks really good right now, I will say. Get everything off there, all good. And that pretty much it. There we go. So we're going to slather some of that into the inside, put the two together, put a bit more on top, maybe a dusting of icing sugar on the top. I would say then job's done. Job's done for us because our kids and Kelly doesn't really like candied peel, but you could make some candied peel. You could get a zester, a little zesting tool, and do another orange or a clementine, and then put it into some sugared water and boil it up for a while, let it cool, candied peel, and put it on top. But we won't do that for today, because obviously we want to eat this as a family. Sorry about that, I just had to rescue a packet of Dreamies from the cat. She eats the whole pack. She'll be climbing the walls, such as wildlife in a house. So I'm going to put this all together, we'll take a photograph, everything done for the day. I'll show you a picture at the end. Hope you enjoyed this recipe. It's dead simple because basically you just throw everything together and give it a whip up. We'll let you know how it is on one of our talk videos. We're going to do things with drinks very soon. So if you've yet to subscribe, please do. We'd love to see you here on Big OGGIE World, and if you want to find out about golf and a bit more of my life, come and join me on Big OGGIE Golf. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. See you all again soon.